Travel Podcast. We're your favorite adventure travel hosts. I'm Britt, and this is Ryan. Together, we travel the world by plane, train, and 89 Ford Sportsmobile, capturing the beauty, adventure, and culture in every corner of the globe. Currently, we're traveling the U.S. in an old van with our 2 dogs, Layla and Cedar. Every Tuesday, we share stories and tips to inspire you to book that next trip. So go ahead and don't be shy. Follow along with us at Rangeless_ on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Let's dive in. Every year, so many people set their New Year's goal to travel the world. But where should you travel in 2024? This time last year, we were planning our 6-month trip to Southeast Asia and a little bit into Asia. So we might be biased, but we think you should spend 2024 traveling Asia.
Absolutely.
And we have something for everybody, no matter what kind of traveler and what you're looking for. But I think we should start with Ryan's personal favorite and our personal favorite kind of travel genre, adventure.
Travel is where it's at.
Yeah.
For us.
For us, we are always down for an adventure.
And for me, I think the peak adventure travel destination for 2024 is Vietnam.
Why do you think, what for you makes it adventure travel?
Vietnam there's everything there. There's huge metropolises of Saigon, Ho Chi Minh. And then there's old cities like Hue and Hanoi that's crazy traffic. And these street vendors everywhere selling just amazing food. And it's just pure chaos all the time happening. And everything works, and it's all so much stimulation going on around you. It's so cool. But I think the best way to see Vietnam is on a motorbike, and that's what we did.
Yeah, I think the way to see Vietnam is on the back of a motorbike. And don't be nervous if you don't know how to ride. I showed up there in 2018 or 2019? 2018. I showed up there in 2018. Never rode a motorbike, a scooter, anything ever in my entire life, not even on the back of one, and went to rent one with a company called Style. We're not sponsored by them. We've just used them multiple times and have nothing but good experiences with them. And a man brought me into an alley in Hanoi and taught me how to ride. That sounds a lot more sketchy than it actually was. He worked for the company. It was a very normal thing. It was fine, but he taught me how to change the gears and everything because it was a manual.
Yeah, and how to use the clutch and all.
Yeah, because it was a manual motorbike. I also think as far as budgeting goes, Vietnam's also really good. Whether you decide to rent or buy a motorcycle in Vietnam, it's going to cost you between $200 to $400 if you're basing it on
for a month.
A month. But if you buy it, it's still going to be $200 to $400, and then you can
sell it when you're done.
Yeah, or you can go into Thailand, Laos, wherever, right? But I think for me, when it comes to Vietnam and me categorizing it as the ultimate adventure spot, it's not necessarily because it's going to be the place that you're going to jump off a bridge or jump out of a plane. That's not necessarily what I mean when I say adventure. When I say adventure, I mean you have those moments of being this isn't real. I'm currently living this storybook story that some author far, far away, long, long ago wrote about some, person in the jungles, right? And I think the epitome of that moment in this last trip that we went to is we were doing the Ha Giang Loop, which if you go and you motorcycle, or even if you're not and get an easy rider, go and do the Ha Giang Loop on the back of a motorbike, because that's just peak adventure. Do it. And if you've done it, you should do it again.
I would go back tomorrow if I could.
But we were doing it, and we did the Ha Giang Loop, and then we kind of went rogue off the normal trail to go see the Ban Giac waterfalls,
which are all the way up on the border with China. Pretty much as remote as it gets in Vietnam.
Yeah, it's a really cool area. But to go out there, you go over this.
It's a plateau.
You go through this plateau. Yeah. And we were there. It just happened to be a weekend, and this little village was having its weekend market. And there was hundreds of people in this tiny little village, and everyone had their scooters. So there was so much traffic.
Yeah, scooters
and
crisscrossing.
There's men walking their water buffaloes like in and out of the market on like leashes, women with baskets of like 3 feet long green beans like hanging out of them looking like some crazy hairdo, and Ryan and I driving through, and everyone's head as we drove through, because we're going slow because there's traffic, is just watching us in confusion. They're like, I think those people are lost. Should we wave them down and give them directions? Do they need our help? Like, I'm sure these were the questions. They were like, where did they come from? Like, it was definitely a place that's not visited much by tourists. And it's morning, and it's cold. Like, can see your breath cold at
because this is January now that we're there.
This is a year ago, yeah. And we need to eat breakfast. We want something like warm and comforting. And many a times we mistake, we look for a place that has a lot of motorbikes outside, right? That's like the first thing. You're like, that place must be good. Lots of cars outside, lots of motorbikes outside. No, those are usually motorcycle mechanics. So we're like driving through, and we drive past these places, and like we pull over, and Ryan's like, I think I saw a spot back there. It's not a mechanic. And I'm like, it's not a mechanic. It's food. Let's go. Let's go. So we turn the bikes around. We go. We park them. We walk in. This like open aired room was just full of old men, like hunched over these steaming bowls of noodles, just like slurping them up. And I'm like, we are absolutely in the right place. They were looking at us like they are absolutely not in the right place. And we walk through, and in the back I spot like an elderly woman, and she's hunched over this giant like cauldron of like bubbling broth, and like I can smell it, and I'm like, yeah, too. And she's like, okay. So we sit down. The waitress, who's probably like her great-great-great-great-great-granddaughter, because the woman was very old, she walks out and she puts this big basket of like bean sprouts and herbs and like all these different things like cilantro in front of us. And I was like, yes, I can't wait for this. Like 2 seconds later, literally, she comes over these giant bowls of noodles, like bigger than huge. Ryan's head.
Yeah, that's...
So like bigger than Ryan's head. And we sit down, and like I can see the porks on top, and it's like that like suckling pork. So like they spit roasted a pig somewhere like behind the building, like, and it's so smoky. Like they did it over wood for like hours. It was like crispy, crunchy.
Oh, so good.
So the best bowl of noodles I've ever had in Vietnam, and I feel like that's really a hard statement because every bowl of noodles is so good. This is hands down the best one. And it was exactly what we wanted. It was like cold. It was comforting. It was delicious. So we finished our bowl. Loved it. All these old men are now looking at us like smiling like, good. Like they're so happy that we've sat in there and just like very clearly. It must have been so clear that
we loved it.
Loved the whole experience. We loved the food. It was amazing. We had a great time. And then we go to pay. And then like I like walked over to her because I had gone to the restroom. Ryan went and paid. I went to the restroom. Come back. I'm like, and she goes, yeah. And I was like, okay. I walked to him.
She went to the restroom. I paid. I thought I was only paying for me because it was so cheap. It worked out to like 50 cents
per bowl,
which is normally it's a little bit more expensive than that. So I was like, maybe she only charged me for me, and I was hanging around just to make sure that I paid for both of us because I was not sure.
Yeah, but I had like looked at her and I was like, and she was like, bye.
Yeah, so
I was like, no.
Not only was it the best bowl of noodles that we ever got in Vietnam, but it was also the cheapest bowl of noodles that we ever got in Vietnam.
Yeah, hands down, the best.
Yeah.
And for me, like that whole experience was such an adventure because it was just off the beaten path, and like there was no one else around, and there was no one.
Like there was signs on the side of the road as you're going up. It's like, you are now entering the frontier zone, and I was like, what?
You're like, where are we? And it was just overall an incredible experience. It was such an adventure. So if in 2024 you're going traveling and an adventure is what you're looking for, head yourself to Vietnam and get yourself a motorbike.
Absolutely.
That you're going to be in the adventure of like your lifetime. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. You can tell us how wonderful it was when you get back.
Another thing that a lot of people like to do is instead of motorcycle travel, they like to
get a car. Yeah, maybe a motorcycle is not for you, but you love a road trip. I think we're in cahoots on which is the best place. Yeah. Malaysia and Borneo.
Borneo, yeah, Sabah.
Yeah, go to Sabah in Malaysia and Borneo. rent yourself a car.
Yep.
There is car rentals right in the airport. There's going to be a whole line of them, just like in any airport. It's going to be just the same, so don't get too anxious or fret. What you will need is an international driver's license.
Yes, and then you have to clear it with the rental company first that you're going to be going outside of the city limits and far away.
You'll probably fly into Costa Kinabalu.
Yes.
And you want to make sure with the rental company that you decide to choose, let them know that you are leaving the city limits. Because quite a few of the car rental places don't allow
you can go 50 miles from here or something like that. But we wanted to go all the way to the other side and do the whole of that region. So we were like, no, we want to go here. So we had to go through a couple of different rental companies until we got one that would agree to that.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. And then we ended up paying we went for 2 weeks and we car camped. So we really got our money out of the car rental. Cost us about $100 US per week for the rental car.
Yeah.
So even better if you can get like a couple people to go with you and you split the cost, you know. I would say that that's a great way to do it. I think that was what was really fun. Remember the one night, because remember we car camped. We slept outside the hot spring.
Yeah,
there's lots of hot springs in Malaysian Borneo.
There is a lot. It's a volcanic region. There's a lot of hot springs there. We pulled up for the night. We slept the night, and then we got up the next morning, grabbed a bit of food to eat out of a restaurant on the side of the road there.
Just a little spot.
And then we went into the hot springs, which
was amazing.
And it was amazing.
So they had hot spring baths that you rented.
Yes.
They also had like a canopy walk that was really cool that we did.
And then they had a waterfall you could swim in.
Yeah, we went back to the waterfall and swam in the waterfall.
So they had cold water and hot water. Oh, it was amazing.
It was so much fun.
Like showers and everything for afterwards. And it was a great way to wake up.
Yeah. And again, everyone was staring at us.
Oh yeah.
There was a handful of other tourists there. But
not a lot.
But not a lot. Everyone was like, what are these people doing? And me and him were just having like the times of our lives. It was also really cool because we got to see a lot of different things. Because being in our own car, it gives you a lot of freedom.
Yes.
So we got to see, drive through the national park. We drove down to the Kinabalu River. And
we also got to see the rafflesia blooming, which is like such a rare thing. They only bloom for one day and then they're dead.
Yeah.
So it's like the biggest flower in the world. We got to see it bloom.
Which was really, really cool.
Those are things you only get like the chance to do if you're like making your own, We
also got to go to like some really local markets and eat some really delicious food there. We got to kind of dive a little bit like into what it's like in Malaysian Borneo. And then we also got to see like firsthand, because we're not like avoiding things because we don't really know where to avoid. So we got to see some of the not so pretty things, like all the plantations that have been popping up.
Yeah, all the palm oil plantations that are like dominating the place now.
Yeah, so and I know a lot of times when you go on tours and stuff, they'll take you like around that so you don't see it, because obviously they don't want the tourists to see like the unattractive places of a region. So when you rent the car, you kind of get that. You get to see all of it. So if you are looking for a car, like a road trip, like an off the beaten path road trip that your friends are going to be like, you went where? You did what? Malaysian Borneo. Go rent a car. It's really fun. You'll love it. Don't forget, there's orangutans and sun bears.
Yeah, there is.
So.
But speaking of wildlife, I think the best place to go for wildlife is Sumatra.
Agreed, 100%.
Sumatra.
If you want wildlife, Sumatra is the place. It's going to give you a little bit of similar vibes to Malaysian Borneo.
Very similar
but
vibes.
Also like completely different at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, we both rented motorbikes there.
Yep, we rented motorbikes there.
Motorbikes.
That's a very common theme. We really like having our own mode of transportation and having the freedom that allows us.
Right. And yeah, I think we're probably we showed up to rent these motorbikes. These guys were looking at us. They were like, where the hell did you come from?
They're like, what are you going to do?
You're doing what?
You're doing, huh? What?
Yeah, and it was hard to find a place that rented motorbikes. It wasn't like other places we've been where just you show up and someone's gonna say, here's a motorbike.
Yeah, or they approach you. Do you need a motorbike? Motorbike. Really, no, yeah.
Yeah.
But we found it. We rented motorbikes. We went we saw a wild orangutan.
Yeah.
We spent the night in the jungles.
Yeah,
they have tigers there.
There's tigers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's all the monkeys there. There's it's just really
so cool. It was so cool. And like then after we were up in like the jungles, we went down and we were down by this like huge waterfall that was like 130 feet tall, and like you're right down at the bottom of it and the water's crashing down around you and you can barely hear yourself talking. It's so loud.
That was wild.
It was so cool. And then like we went out to Lake Toba, which is in the middle of a volcano. Like it's the crater in the volcano. It's the largest lake on any island in the world.
And we're on an island in the lake.
In an island.
In an island.
Yeah. Like, that's wild.
It was wild. It's like an absolutely wild place.
Yeah. And it was so cool. Like, it was one of the most unique places I've ever been.
And then if you're looking for wildlife, but like aquatic wildlife, they also have like, we didn't even make it. We didn't even make it like all the, like the, to all like the way all to the top? Yeah, no. We didn't even make it. We ran out of time, which is so sad. We have to go back. Yeah. This is making me be like,
Yeah, because we got food poisoning, so that took us out of action for like a week.
So bad.
It was real bad. But it wasn't their fault, it was our fault. But yeah, that was not good.
Yeah. But if you're looking for wildlife in 2024, go to Sumatra, Indonesia.
Yeah. But what if you're looking for like beaches, tropical paradise?
Philippines.
The Philippines.
Always. Yeah. If you want a beautiful beach, get your butt to the Philippines. Like that. And there are some things that are like important to know before you go to the Philippines. So the Philippines is kind of difficult, and as far as like it's expensive and it takes a lot of time to get from like one island to the next island. It's going to take longer and it's going to cost more than you think it's going to.
Yeah.
So if you only have like 2 weeks, you're only going to 1 or 2 islands. If you have 4 weeks there, you're going to 3 or 4 islands. Do not spend less than a week on an island. Like just, it's not.
No.
It takes too much time to get between them. You'll spend your whole time doing travel days rather than just enjoying where you are. Also, typhoon season. So it's always typhoon season somewhere in the Philippines. But that means it's always dry season somewhere in the Philippines. So just look at what islands appeal to you. Mm-hmm. Then decide what time of the year you're going. And then just pick the ones that it's going to be dry season. Because wet season in Philippines does not mean like if you're an American, you're like, oh, in Florida, it rains every day at 2 o'clock. No. Typhoon season means it rains every day, all day, for weeks.
Yeah.
Don't go. If it's rainy season, you're not going to be able to enjoy it.
No.
You're just not going to be able to. So go to one of the islands that it's not currently rainy season when you're there. Because there's going to be like half of them.
That's really good advice.
And it doesn't matter which one you go to. The beaches are beautiful.
The beaches are so pretty.
We love El Nido.
We do love El Nido. And about 45 minutes outside of El Nido by scooter, just going north, we found a beach called Dooley Beach.
Oh, it was so good.
Now, the road in is a little sketch. A little more than a little sketch. It's basically a dirt track or a sandy dirt road.
Yeah, and they were like, it was like, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And we were going over them, and Ryan was hitting him so hard, and I was on the back of the scooter that, like, I was like,
you're getting those shockwaves up your spine.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm like, it hurt. Like, that was painful.
Yeah, because we were doubled up on a scooter. Yeah. We got to the beach. There's probably 30 people hanging out. This beach is probably about 3 miles long.
It's also a surfing beach.
It's also a surfing beach, and the waves are big. They're like advanced waves.
At least when we were there, they were.
Yeah. Everyone's hanging out right there by these little huts, and there's a little restaurant there. They're all hanging out right there. Nobody's really stretching out too much. So we try and take the motorbike down the beach. And we get beached on the motorbike.
Oh yeah, we just
left it in the middle of these banana trees, and we're like, hope it's there when we get back. I don't know, we'll see. It was. And, and we go walking down the end of the beach all the way to the end, and there's these beautiful palm trees that are sticking out of and hanging out over the water, where you can walk up the tree and all on pristine sand, clean beach, beautiful. You couldn't ask for a better location.
And we just hung out there all day.
Yeah. We hung out there all day. We loved it. And yeah, I wore plenty of sunscreen because I get destroyed in the sun. And
you sat in the shade sometimes.
And I do sit in the shade quite a bit. Yeah, and that was amazing. But those beaches are everywhere in the Philippines. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. There was another beach that was on the just before you get to El Nido. Yeah. And that's really cool and tranquil, and there's sailboats all moored outside, and then there's little shops and restaurants right behind you, but it's still quiet on the beach.
Yeah, I'd say when you're looking for those really quiet beaches in Philippines or really anywhere, pull up Google Maps.
Yeah.
and you can like look, and then you
Yeah,
can like
on the satellite
on the
view.
satellite, and you like search down.
Yeah, because like there's also Nakpan beaches is right there, and like that's like
Beautiful.
it's a beautiful, and it's like a party, and there's like restaurants everywhere, and there's like all these like different bars and stuff, and there's hostels there on the beach and all that.
Yeah, there's a mad monkey there, so if,
Yeah,
like,
and there's like beautiful sunsets at pretty much everywhere in the Philippines. The sunsets are like
the sunsets in the Philippines are particularly like
beautiful.
they're some of the nicest sunsets in the world.
Beautiful.
If you're looking for beaches, you're looking for sunsets in 2024.
Yeah,
Philippines.
Philippines is where it's at.
Philippines.
Absolutely.
But there's beaches, and then there's surfing beaches, and then there's places to go surfing.
Right.
And I know that a lot of people set their New Year's resolution to learn how to surf.
Yeah.
Or get better at surfing.
That was one of my resolutions last year.
I do remember that. So if you have never surfed before and want to, or you are literally like someone who's like, I could have went pro, but I didn't. You know who you are. Go to Lombok, Indonesia. Go to Lombok.
Yeah, because
it's gonna be the best. Like it's best. It's the best.
Yeah, we were in my favorite and your favorite is Gurupuk.
I love Gurupuk.
And it's a reef break, and you have to take a boat out to get to it. And we went with Jaharu, your friend, and he's a really, really good surf instructor.
He's really good, whether you are an absolute beginner or you are like an intermediate to a good surfer looking to go out with like a fantastic, great surfer, and you like if you go out surfing with him, even if you're a good surfer, like he's going to improve your surfing.
Yeah.
You know, he's really good.
Yeah. And this was after me spending a week in Canggu at Echo Beach trying to learn how to surf and getting absolutely pummeled and ending up like taking a face plant right where the water, where the river meets the sea, and inhaling
it's basically the sewer.
A bunch of that and getting very sick for a while. Oof, I just had flashbacks.
Oh, God. But Lombok is really good.
But Lombok and Gurupuk especially, like the waves are so pillowy. It's so nice. It's like gentle, but they're still big. But
and there's a good channel there. There's a really strong channel, so you don't have to fight the waves to get back out, which I know is, especially for new surfers, can be really hard, and you're out on the foamies and you can't get back out to the waves. There's a nice channel where there's a little bit of like a rip and it will pull you out. And it's kind of, it's an enjoyable experience.
It's really nice.
And it gets a little bit busy there. It does. That also depends on like where you're coming from. So like, I grew up in New Jersey surfing. I don't think that Gurupuk gets busy. But that's someone who's like, if waves come into Jersey, like there's going to be like 100 people in the lineup. And I'm not catching anything. I'm not aggressive enough. So it's kind of just what you're used to. But yeah, I would say it gets moderately busy there. But if you're better at surfing, you don't go to you can go to Gurupuk. It's great for all levels. Like it gets really good there actually. But there's other places that you can go that won't have all the beginners, like Maui Beach and a few of the other breaks, and they won't have all the beginners there, so it never gets quite as
if you go with a buddy, you'll probably be the only two people there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like, there's so many spots in Lombok.
And there's so many. So everywhere is a spot.
Yeah.
Everywhere is a spot. So just if you're looking to go surfing, whether you're a really good surfer and you're looking to go on a guy's or a lady's surf trip, or if you are like someone who just wants to learn, go to Lombok, Indonesia this year. Mm-hmm. That's where you're headed to learn how to surf or to get better at surfing. It's time for the city. And I think this is where we start to disagree on where's the best.
Because Asia has some of the best cities in the world.
Such good cities.
Some of the best cities in the
My
world.
number one city, Tokyo.
Mine, Singapore. I love Singapore because of how compact it is. Because like you're going to visit, you're not going to live there. So like the more you can cram in like the time that you're there, the better, I think. And the public transit's amazing.
The public transit's really good and it's affordable.
Everything's pretty new there, like for the most part.
Like, the standard of living's really high
Standard of living's really high. There's attractions everywhere, like the Gardens of the Bay. Even the airport itself is an attraction. Like, it's wild. Like, everyone, like, there's a lot of English being spoke there. It's pretty accessible in terms of, like, travel.
It is. As far as cities go and as far as Asia goes, it is a very accessible city.
There's mostly English writing on a lot of street signs and stuff, at least as a secondary language and things like that. So it's very, very accessible. It's got a huge tourist, like, like appeal, I guess. I don't know what the word I'm looking for there, but it's set up for tourism too. And like you can go to a beach resort just off the coast. Like you can go and explore like Gardens of the Bay. You can go through all the fancy malls underground and all of that stuff.
They have a lot of malls.
It's so much to do. You can go in Chinatown. You can go to Little India. Like there's like all these little like pockets of different ethnicities and neighborhoods that have like set up and mingled
of the people that make up the whole city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like cool to like have all of that like choice while you're like in this small little area. I really liked it.
That's kind of what I like about Tokyo. Like I feel like Tokyo is such a world-renowned incredible city, but I feel like the people of Tokyo are so cool. Like, you can just sit outside of a 7-Eleven eating, like, an onigiri, which will probably be, like, the best onigiri you've ever had in your life, people watching. And they have the coolest haircuts, the fashion, like, the music they're listening to. People are walking down the street, and you're like, they're so cool. Like, they'll never be friends with me because they're way too cool.
Yeah.
And then you start, like, walking down the street, right? And you're met with, like, the new and, like, ancient, and all of a sudden you're on this like huge metropolitan area. You go 2 blocks over and you feel like you're in like a forest.
Right.
You know, there is beautiful green space, there's beautiful parks, there's really rich history. You can go to the temples that are right in the city. There'll be like these tiny little temples where you can, you know, make us a small donation or like an offering,
and then you cleanse yourself with the water.
Yeah, you cleanse yourself with the water, and then pop into like this tiny little bar that it's like 3 people and
the barman,
the barman, and they're having like little snacks and little things, and then you can see where fish from all over the world are like brought in and used to create sushi, and they're flown all over the world to make sushi, to make like world-renowned sushi all over the world, and the ramen and the food culture in general and the drinking culture in general, and everything. Like, one of my favorite areas, I love thrifting. There is one neighborhood in Tokyo that's like huge for like a thrifting, and it's really trendy, and there are all these really cute boutiques, and then they pretty much whatever it is that you like, they're gonna have it in Tokyo. Like, then they have all the anime and the manga, and then they have like all the cafes
and all the tech stuff,
and everything's kawaii, and I love it. And I love it. I love it so much. Plus, their transportation is incredible.
Oh, it's the best in the world. The best.
I love Tokyo. If you're looking for city life, Tokyo.
Tokyo is more than a city. Tokyo, for me, is like a metropolis. It's huge. It's made up of multiple cities. Like, you really need like at least like a month in Tokyo alone just to get it all in. Like, we were there for what? 2 weeks?
Yeah, we were
in just Tokyo. And like, I feel like we only barely scratched the surface.
Yeah. I love Tokyo. But I think city life 2024, if you're looking for it, go to Tokyo.
Yeah.
And what do you say?
Singapore.
And you say go to Singapore?
I think 2 weeks in Singapore, you can get the whole thing done. You can like get to all of it. 2 weeks in Tokyo, you're gonna want to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food.
So
if you travel to eat, I say Bangkok.
I say Japan.
Okay, why Japan?
Because $1 sushi. Okay.
Oh yeah, the conveyor belt sushi.
I love conveyor belt sushi.
So
I love it. It's the best. Why isn't everything brought to me on a conveyor belt? I don't know. Udon, the noodles, like soba noodles. It's so good. Like, I got to eat sea urchin.
Yeah, we ate everything.
We ate puffer fish.
We did.
Like, everything. You can get it, and it's all good. I loved it all. Like, the best, though, I think, in Japan was when we went to Mount Fuji, Lake Kawaguchi. We went to a restaurant that...
It was like a special noodle for the region.
Special noodle for that region. And this restaurant was like all wood architecture on the inside, like almost looked like a church. Like, and you know, it was like this triangular roof going all the way up, and the glass wall, a full glass wall.
So looking at Mount Fuji.
Perfectly lined up with Mount Fuji as we sat there and ate our noodles, and I was like, wow.
So good.
Like, that place had like a ticket system so that you could get in. We went in the middle of the day because like that's when we were there.
That's when we were there, yeah.
We took our time out of the day to go and do that, and we managed to get in without having to wait too long. But by the looks of things, that place is jam-packed every evening.
It was beautiful, and the food was incredible.
So good. It was so good. I loved it.
Yeah. Mine's Bangkok, though. Where else in the world are you going and spending like $3 on a Michelin star street food dish?
Oh yeah, Chinatown, that's good.
Like,
Bangkok.
yeah, like nowhere else. The street food culture in Bangkok is absolutely incredible. The restaurant culture in Bangkok is absolutely incredible. Remember all the cool cafes we went to in Bangkok? Absolutely incredible. I think if you're traveling to eat, Bangkok is going to give you, your classics. Like you're going to be able to go in and get like a pad thai that was literally like made for a tourist, right? But then you're also going to be able to go off that beaten path, like 2 stalls down in a market and have things that you can identify, and it's going to be delicious and it's going to be spicy and it's going to be so good. And Bangkok, you can get everything. The seafood. The seafood's so good. Seafood's so good. Like, just like you're in casual street food, so good. The fruit in Bangkok, you're like buying cut fruit from someone with a little cart in a little plastic bag, and you're eating it with a stick, and it's going to be like the best mango you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
It's just everything is so fresh, so tasty. The flavor combinations that they come out with in Bangkok, it's just such a food capital. If you are a foodie, you can't not go to Bangkok.
Yeah. I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Yeah, so 2024, I say if food travel, I say Bangkok.
All right, but what about if you're looking for like a party, if you're looking for nightlife, if you're looking for like a good time?
So I think that's really hard, right? So I originally had written down that I said, like the Thai Islands, like the full moon party, like, Phuket, like, all of those. And then I changed my mind. I think it's Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam.
Ho Chi Minh?
Mm-hmm. Because it's such a metropolitan city. You have the nightlife, and it's like the big nightclubs, the DJs and the dance floors, and everyone's beautiful and everyone's having a good time. And then you have like the little bars. You know what they do? I love this. When you go to one of the little bars, this is more of like your like dive bar situation. Right. First of all, food. The snacks are flowing. I don't care what anyone else says. If I'm drinking, I want to be snacking too. Like, I like to sit at a table for hours, have little snacks going around, having drinks flowing. Like, that's the kind of nightlife I like. And what they do is they bring you cases of beer. And they put them on the ground. So it'll be like 30 cases of beer. And they'll just be sitting on the ground, and then they bring you like buckets of ice because it's hot. It's so hot in Vietnam. And then you have cups. You take some ice cubes, you put it in your cup, you pour your beer. And then at the end, they count how many cans are left in your case. Yep. I love that.
That's a cool way to do it, yeah.
So there's so much of that in between. And then also remember when we went with my friend Nick?
Yeah.
Because I have a friend that lives there, and I've now visited him twice. And every time I've gone, he's brought me to like a cool spot. But the last time we went to this little like cool spot with like a rooftop, and they were like playing records, and it was like on the river. There's so many cool spots.
There's so much to do. There's so many places that you can go.
It's great nightlife. Whether you like a nightclub or you like a low-key bar, or you like a little hipster spot, or you like
it's there for you.
Dive bar on the side of the road where like food's just flowing, or you know what they do too? They do like snails.
Oh yeah.
And like broth. Yeah, like brothy snails with like beer, and I'm like, yes. I love that. I love snails.
That's good.
Yeah, Ho Chi Minh City.
Ho Chi Minh, for me, it's Bangkok. For me, it's Bangkok, without a doubt.
Of course it is. You're Irish.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, of course it is.
Koh San Road is the backpacker capital of Bangkok, and, like, it is a wild place. Like, there's
so wild
music everywhere, all along the street. There's, like, street performers everywhere. There's food stalls where you can eat like scorpions and spiders and all this crazy stuff.
Balloons
full of nitrous that if you inhale them, you get it's like laughing gas. It's crazy. And then like
weird shows.
You got
weird shows.
Yeah, there's some weird shows. There's some weird stuff in Bangkok.
Yeah, we don't judge though.
You do you. But get a bucket. You got to get a bucket on the Koh San Road. You don't get a little glass. You get a bucket full of your beverage of choice.
Yeah. Mixed drinks.
Yeah, and it's like the thing that's so special about Koh San Road is it's usually everyone's first stop.
Yeah, so
when
it's
they
a
get
lot
off
of backpackers,
on their, like,
which is cool.
their gap year, they're like 3 months, they're whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
It's where they first get off, and everyone's so pumped to be there. Like, it's such an energy.
You're gonna make a lot of other friends. Like if you're solo traveling and you go
you'll
stay,
probably end up meeting people that you'll end up going traveling with for a while,
You'll
you'll meet them somewhere else way down the line when you're going.
Yeah. If you're looking for people to go on that road trip around Borneo with, go to Koh Samui.
You'll find them.
You'll make friends. You'll be besties by the end of the night. I think Bangkok is a great nightlife city if that's what you're looking for.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So 2024, you're looking for nightlife? I say Ho Chi Minh City.
I say Bangkok. With one outsider, then number 3 coming in is Osaka, Japan.
Oh, Osaka's
got such a cool nightlife.
Yeah, remember we were in that Rolling Stones bar?
Yeah.
This is probably the coolest bar I've ever been into, like, ever. So we were walking around Osaka. Love it. Oh, we had even a cooler experience. Well, we had a cool experience before we got to the Rolling Stones bar. Remember, we were walking
in that
down.
tiny little standing bar.
We were in a standing bar. So Osaka, I think Japan in general has standing bars, but Osaka has a lot of little standing bars. And we're walking by, and like we pop in, and there's a bunch of people in there.
Yeah.
Japanese people, and we made friends. Immediately, we made friends. So if you guys are watching, hey. The vlogs from Japan are coming.
They're coming.
We're working on them. They're coming. We made friends. They like welcomed us all in. They like poured like their fancy like sake for us. That was delicious. And I'm not that much of a sake drinker.
But it was nice.
So
it was
nice.
Really good.
And we made friends. And we left that bar and we were like just walking. And we were looking for the teeny tiny bars. So then we found one of the teeny tiny bars. And the door was so little. Like, for instance.
We had to stoop down to get in.
Yeah, I'm like 5'4", and like I was stooping down to get in. And then you get in and you can stand up. And there is a very old man who is the bartender. There's 2 other guys in there, and there's 2 seats. We sit in them.
That's it.
That's it. There was enough room for 4 people.
And if someone else came in, he'd be like, nope, we're full.
Yeah, so we had a drink there, and it was, like, really cool. Then we leave there, and we're just walking, and I see Rolling Stones bar. Yeah. I'm like, Ryan, we have to go.
Yeah, it was called, like, Sally Mae or something like that. And it was down in this, like, little dingy basement.
I love an underground bar.
Open the door, and the smell of cigarettes just hits you right in the face. Like,
you can't really see. It takes a little bit because of all the smoke.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
And you
Once
walk in.
you get through the haze.
And this bartender, this man's a legend. He must have been like in his late 60s, early 70s. Pictures of Rolling Stones memorabilia from the Rolling Stones all over. Peppered in are fan art of him.
Yeah.
Like all the people who drew pictures of him. Like so freaking cool.
Everywhere. All plastered through the bar.
All behind him was just like all these records and CDs and tapes. And then he had all his guitars like hanging. And he's just playing such good music. He's playing the Stones, but he's playing like such good music. You can see like all his music.
Yeah,
it was a cool
spot.
Bar. Yeah, Osaka would be like...
Yeah.
Really, yeah, if you're looking for nightlife, Osaka's also good. So like, you can't go wrong with like, Asia in general, they know how to get down.
They like to party.
You can go anywhere. It don't matter. You're gonna have some fun. Yeah. You're gonna have a really good time. The people are gonna ensure it. They're gonna be like, you're coming here. We'll show you what fun is.
What about for like special events or holidays?
I think Songkran.
Songkran?
Yeah. So Songkran is in Thailand. They have it in Chiang Mai. They have it down in Phuket. But I think you should do the Songkran in Bangkok.
Yeah, that's where we did it. And
yeah, it's a water festival, and it's like the water symbolically like cleanses you, so you'll have good luck.
Yeah, so you're getting blessed by people. Mm-hmm. And
they also put like zinc on your face, which is like really fun, and it's just a giant water fight. So everyone gets water guns and like buckets of water, and leave your phone at home or put it in like
a little zippy bag
or something. Yeah, and you take to the streets, and it's so much fun. So this year it's April 13th to April 15th. Just saying, if you're looking to go in 2024. Songkran was so much fun. Ryan was so cute in Songkran. So we get there and he has we got our water guns and he's like, I'm ready, let's go.
Yeah, and I would go, when it was time to refill it, I would go along, like, looking for the guys with the icy water.
Yeah, and then shoot people with the ice water. I'm like, please don't shoot me with
because it's so much, like, worse, and everyone's getting you with this icy water. I was like, I have to get the coldest water possible.
And, like, people have signs, it's like, cold water. You're standing outside with the hose.
Of ice.
I think part of it that's really fun is like that there's so many, it's locals and tourists, and it's everyone playing together, and people like have their pickup trucks, and their like kids are all in the back, and they're like throwing water off the trucks at everyone as they pass. Like it's just a city-wide fun.
It's so much fun.
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
Yeah, so if you're going to be in Asia for 2024, April 13th to 15th, go to Bangkok.
Absolutely. And then one other like really cool like holiday experience that we got out of nowhere, like we didn't even plan for it, was
Tet.
Yeah,
in Vietnam.
We were by ourselves. We were on the way from Phang Nga to Hue, and it was a dirty ride in the middle of nowhere. Like we're on the motorbikes and everything's closed because it's Tet.
Yeah. And we were nervous because we're not going to be able to find food.
We brought extra bottles full of petrol with us because we're like, I don't know if we're going to be able to fill up. Anyway, we're looking for food for hours. We're driving, nothing. And then we finally see a place with the doors open. We're like, that looks kind of like food. Let's pull over and see what's going on. And a car pulls over at the same time as us. And we pull in, we get off the bikes, get all our stuff together, and we're like heading in, and at the same time as this like large family of
there was like 12 people there.
Yeah, but it's a big group to be.
Yeah, it was a big group.
You know, and this lovely lady Kim sees Brittany, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you come with us, come with us."
I was like, "Okay,
so then we sat down to eat with these people, and we had such a great time. It was
one of my favorite experiences of like the whole year.
Yeah, and like we just
having lunch with them.
Yeah, we got to try. They had like hot pots, so we got to try like a bunch of different things.
Yeah, and Kim like walked us through like how to eat things, what all the different things were. It was
so cool, and we were chatting to her grandsons and sons, and it was so much fun. And like those are the things that like you don't plan, but they work out, and it's really, really nice.
And those are the opportunities that I feel just like organically happen. Like you can't plan that.
No.
You know, and it's just like when you're just traveling and you don't have such set plans, those are like when you get moments like that.
Yeah, where you can just take those opportunities.
And just have like real human connections. Like that's all it is. It's just a real human connection. Like, and she was so happy and genuine to share her culture with us. And we were so open and excited to learn. And we came to that with such an open mind, and I'm just like, I want to know I love Tet now.
Yeah.
I'm like, who are we going to celebrate Tet with this year?
I don't
know. It's just going to be us.
I think that's it for this week.
I think those are all the places that you should go in 2024 and why you should go there. So have fun on your travels, and as you plan them, I'm really jealous. Not that we're not doing cool things, but if we could go back to Asia,
we'd be there.
Instead, we will be in the States, maybe in Mexico, maybe in Alaska. You'll have to follow along at Rangeless_ on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, and Instagram to stay up to date on all the places that we're going to be.
Until next week.
Bye.